Hello, good evening, and welcome to the UN podcast. This is Vaughn B, and my man Ricky. Our other friend couldn't make it today. Elton's feeling a little under the weather, so we just gonna carry on. All right. So, how you doing, man? Everything good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what did you think of the overall? Did you watch the latest episode of Dune?
Dune Prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit much better, but at the first it was getting boring.
Yeah. It seems to be kind of how this thing's going to go, but overall, it was a better episode than the last one was.
I mean, the end was a little bit better, but in the beginning it was just boring. I was falling asleep.
All right, so before we get into it anymore, got to put on the spoiler alert there. So anybody who hasn't watched the episode, please go a little bit further into this particular one, and we will talk about other things. So let's get into the episode. Kind of, it seems like whenever they focus more on the Jesuits, the sisters, yeah, it tends to be a little boring at times. But I guess the sister is trying to figure out like the beginning episode, if I can, and I just watched this thing that shows you how it kind of fell out of my head. The sisters are having one of the sisters is having a dream, right? And she gets up and she sees a vision of what happened to the original, one of the original apostates of the original person who started the order, and how she was in the vision that she sees is herself killing herself, kind of thing. So the kind of butch sister wakes up and she notices that that one is gone, and she's trying to find her, and that all the other sisters are having the same kind of weird dream
in bed.
Right. So which leads to beg the question, well, we're going to find out later on, I guess, why she didn't. And it's a lot of spooky stuff happening in the home of the sisterhoods, a lot of little murmuring in the background.
I mean, I was lost a little bit there. I was like, trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, I think what's happening is and I can draw a conclusion what the original sister's name was, but she seems to be, I don't know if it's her or if it's whatever the mysterious entity that is controlling or created or whatever it is with Desmond. So what he is linked to, when you get a better understanding a little bit throughout the episode, because you see the spooky eyes and you kind of hear kind of a mechanicalness of the creature.
And then the spooky eyes is not the ones where they took the girl Lila and she's seen those ghosts.
No, that one is so that they can get in touch with the original sister.
The ancestors, right?
Right. So they can figure out like who is behind Desmond. And that's the whole point of that. And she was taken away from them because she is a connection to something. Basically, she is a descendant of, I think, the lady who killed herself. I think she's like her daughter or something.
Yeah, that part was kind of lost. I was almost falling asleep. So
yeah, so like in the previous episode, she's kind of like she was born there, so she's brought up. She doesn't know who her mother is, and I think they gave an indication that her mother is the lady who killed herself, or that Avelia had killed herself. I think that's who her mother was, and he just kind of raised her with all the other little girls. So, at the same time, the Avelia is trying to worm her way back into the palace. So she decides to use her family, and her uncle is not with this, but I guess I don't know if he is. I'm trying to remember if he was present like back when they were like super poor. Because I don't recall like
You mean the uncle, right?
no, the uncle was present, but I'm talking about like the nephew, the one who's the Baron of the Harkonians right now.
Yeah, the one they're trying to put him in the console, right?
Right. So I'm trying to see if he would have had he would have been a child or something at the time.
I didn't I didn't see him because she said that was her nephew.
Right. So he is somebody's kid. I don't know who.
So she has her brother Griffin that died,
Mhm.
Tula, and her. But then who's the from
I don't
what?
know.
She said nephew, right?
Right. So
So I'm
and
lost there. And the guy, the older guy, that's her uncle.
right. So he's the patriarch of the family, but he but he wasn't Baron, which is weird.
Yeah, I was lost there too. So I was trying
So
to understand it. When she said nephew, I was like, it kind of lost me there. So I was trying to figure out this stuff. I was like, who is he? Tula's daughter, son, or
I don't know.
maybe it might be Tula's son.
Well, Griffin's picture was on the wall. So first I was kind of like who the hell, like why the way they made it the picture, I think maybe he is Griffin's kid. Because like the way that they made the picture, because
But they never said anything. Remember when they were showing Griffin,
right.
he just automatically died. They didn't explain how he died or anything.
I got the impression that he was supposed to be like the leader, like of it, and
Well,
his
he was
uncle was
going to
kind
be
of
the future leader of the
right.
Harkonnens.
So you would think that if this other dude is the Baron now, then maybe that's his dad, and maybe he knocks somebody up, you know.
Either going to be Griffin or Tula's kid.
Right. And you find something about the bodyguard guy towards the like at the end. He just drops something that goes, oh, okay, a little bit of information. So the sister, the Tula, decides to conduct. Once she finds out that the ladies had a dream, they decide to conduct, I guess, an experiment. So everybody gets a little bit of spice and tries to get them to draw or recall because they're sitting in a classroom and they have a bunch of drawing paper in front of them, and they go to try their best to recall their dreams. So they start like drawing
No, they
stuff,
just living and making circles, and then
right? And then
everybody
it
drew the
gets
same picture.
right, and then it gets increasingly spookier. And then once it gets really spooky, then she tries to pull him back because the eldest elder sister comes in and is like, she's like, "What the hell are y'all doing?" kind of thing, and trying to get her to stop. She looks in and see the drawings that they're doing, and she really tells her to stop, and she can't at this point because they're drifting deeper and deeper into this vision, and they draw like hands, and then they draw like one of the sandworms, and then eventually they all draw a pair of just eyes. They it's an eyeball first, and then they paint the entire piece of paper black with just two eyes.
I thought that was the ghost.
Right. Whatever that is that like you've seen glimpses of, where at first it was just the kind of eyes and you hear something really, really, really like in the background, but you can't really make out what it is. And they give you more, like they bring up the sound a little bit so you can actually hear like what this thing is making. And that's towards the end when you really hear like what you hear when Desmond is making the his little speech at the meeting of the houses.
Oh, the
But
console.
right. So but that's a little further. So Avelia decides to run a scheme because she finds out that the Atreides guy, who is the princess's like trainer, bodyguard kind of thing,
Lover.
his lover, like all it is. And they set up a deal because all the houses are meeting, and at some point the emperor is going to talk to them, and they want to basically kill everybody as a kickoff to their revolution. So they got a guy who gives them a thing, and it's like a little drone guy to worm its way into the area, and the Atreides guy is going to trigger it and cause an explosion. So it's all hush hush. They go back to the I guess nightclub, and one of the other sisters is there, the one that's undercover, who is setting all this stuff, basically,
The black girl.
right? Who is goading all of this stuff in. And as they're discussing this, the princess shows up, and he kind of ushers her to the side so she don't see what's going on. So now that the Velia or the what she's called, the Mother Supreme or Supreme
Mother Supreme.
Right. So
Mother Superior.
Right, Mother Superior. So she is, again, as she's trying to worm her way back into the Harkonians, because she kind of need them. She tells them that she's going to, not only is she going to give them their own truth seeker, she's going to be their truth seeker, and because she is such high stature, that will increase the Harkonian stature up to where they'll be looked as kind of equals, because at this point they're still, even though like
you're like a laughing stock,
right, because they're the whale fur guys. They sell whale fur, which is
since the Bolivarian Jihad war, they didn't fight.
Right, so
they didn't get involved in trying to fight the AI machines.
Right, because they're out of favor.
And they want to get their name respect back.
Yes. So they're out of favor, and she convinces them to. She got a lot of. I give it to her. She got a lot of plans going. So one of the plans she has going, she has some of the other truth seekers talk to two heads of houses.
But that's another nephew, right? That's the Hero Harkonnen, the younger guy that was with her uncle.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. It's like we're trying to figure out who the hell, because he looks like he's about like maybe late 20s or something like that. So given that the Mother Superior is probably late 50s, going like 60s kind of thing, and this takes place, he would have been like a baby when she left.
Yeah, that's only bad part, that they're not explaining who these guys are.
Like, right. So it's just you're trying to guess like who everybody. You learn some of it, just like we learn who the Atreides guy is at some point. So, all right. So, see, man, this thing is fell out of my head because these are the boring parts. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's all of the intrigue stuff, but
it's not really boring.
Yeah, it's not that intriguing. It's like it only gets interesting when you get the Desmond back. So now you get to see the Emperor. And Desmond is sitting at the Emperor's table for like breakfast or whatever that is.
Yeah, when they're eating.
Right. So the princess comes out, and she basically is like why is he here? It's like he's a murderer. He killed a kid. And she finds out that even though Desmond kind of did on his own, his dad, like her dad was the blessing afterwards. It's like didn't do anything about it when he found out. She finds that out. She's appalled by this, and she decides to take it upon herself to do something about it. And it's like a lot of stuff is supposed to happen at this meeting, right? So you got the explosion, you got the Avelia trying to use the information that she has about and thwart the explosion. And she's trying to put the Harkonnen back on the map so that she can use them. So there's a lot of stuff happening at the same time. All right.
Schemes upon schemes.
Right. So later on, Desmond, they have a conversation about, and this is like the Emperor is kind of like, he's kind of a weak guy, which is interesting. He inherited like his forebears, like his dad and his own grandfather did things to earn being emperor, whereas he is in relative peace, and so they're kind of looking at him as weak because he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, so Desmond is he's very manipulated too,
right, from his wife and all this other stuff, and the former truth seeker, right? So Desmond is like, dude, you got to actually put fear into these people's hearts in order for you to really control them. And he's like, I don't know, I can't really do that. And he gives him an opportunity to burn pages from the sister's handbook, I guess. And he is even unwilling to do that. Even though it's just him and Desmond in this room and nobody would actually know, he still is too hesitant to do that.
It's like
So,
his wife has more ambition than him.
right. And she's the one who basically is forcing him to be in a position of strength, even though he's unwilling to do so. So the sisters, like the mother's sister, she talks like to the other sister, and they talk two heads of the houses to petition to because there's space in the council because the Atreides guy went back to his planet, because he got threatened
When she went
and
to
all
those
the
two minor houses, there were two
right.
separate families, right?
Right. So in order for them to, because basically what they told them in the whole scheme is like, we need to do something about what happened to Atreides, but anybody who does it is going to be looked up upon as a person who's vying for the throne. So neither one of these groups want to put themselves. They want to manipulate somebody to do it, and so that they can benefit from it, but they don't want to be the ones who are initiating it. So
They
they
just want to
convince.
be behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. So what happens is she gets them to basically sponsor the Harkonians to be back on the console by kind of getting him to do the thing that they want to be done, but neither one of them want to risk their status in order to do it. But the Harkonians don't have any status, so therefore,
That's how she puts her nephew.
right. So again, she's working three different plans at the same time. and at the same time, she is trying to convince her sister to come out to this planet because she feels like she's doing all of this on her own, which she is. Meanwhile, the lady that she brought with her, Theona, I think, we find out that she has a special ability that
That's the black girl, right?
right. So it's like she told her that she wanted her to get to know the princess, just like the other lady who died in the first episode.
When I got burned.
Right. So she wants her to get close to her, but she also wants her because she has a special ability, which we find out later in the episode. So, and we also kind of find out why she does not want to use it. So first it sounds like, it's not like it's something that she just doesn't want to do. But later on, you find out why she doesn't want to do it. She said,
That's why
what
she to confront Desmond Hart, right? But then
yeah,
Valley
so she
tells her like we still don't know who he is, and we still have to understand his powers and stuff like that.
right. So remember I told you last week how a lot of her schemes is dependent on other people being stupid. Because that's basically what it is. It's like she's doing all these things and they're kind of not necessarily blown up in her faces, but they're not going in the direction that she would like them to because she doesn't have all the information, but she's kind of acting like she does, which is the reason why her brother is dead, her sister became a mass murderer, and all this other stuff, and why her family doesn't like her. Is because she has all these ambitions and she wants all this stuff to happen, but she doesn't really think about what are the overall repercussions of these things that you're doing. And even as an older woman,
Even
she's
though
still
she
doing
had a few with the treaty, she don't not let it go like her uncle told her, like
right. And she's
oh
causing
views and shit like that. You just have to let it go, but you always continue to
right,
with the ambition about it.
right.
Revenge,
And
stuff
you
like that.
causing all these things. And I can kind of see it from his point of view. It's like we have built ourselves up from living on this shitty planet on the snow to having at least a house on the capital planet. And then here your ass show up after not doing anything to help us. And now you want to, because you need us. And he's telling his nephew he's telling his nephew the same thing they
Don't
told her
trust
brother.
her.
Yeah, the same thing he told her brother is not going to end well for you because it didn't end well for for his nephew.
Griffin.
Right. So it's like, dude, just don't because of her ambitions. And she does not, she is so focused on what she wants to do. She's not actually thinking about everything that can happen. All right. So the houses come over. They set up they have a meeting. He agrees to do what they want, even though since she set everything up, she knows what they actually want. So she's kind of she's not giving her nephew all of the information, which is basically gives credence to what their uncle said. It's just like, so you go back to the planet of the sisters. She is having she is going to go talk. She went to the secret little spot. She's the sister
Tula.
See, I forgot her damn name. As talking to the girl who is stuck in the little spice rack. All right. That's essentially what it is. Then it's like it's like back and forth, and just more talky. They're trying to figure out what's going on.
It was kind of boring. So
yeah, it got exciting when we get to the meeting where all the houses and the emperor is going to show up. The emperor shows up, and that's when they're going to do Avelia's plan. The Mother Superior, she goes her nephew to stand up, and he's about to confront the emperor. So as he's about to do that, and he gets a little pushback from the guy who's controlling the meeting, and he's a little confused because he's not used to that kind of environment. So before he can say anything, that's when the princess shows up and basically does what the reverend sister wanted to do.
Was gonna do, but the Ines kind of the one that said it.
Right. So she comes up, basically tells, accuse my dad or whatever. And, so as she's about to, accuse Desmond of being what he is, Desmond stops everybody, confesses to what he did, tells them that the reason why he did what he did is because the kid had illegal technology.
AI machine.
And
what was the purpose of Valia was taking out the knife? What was she trying to do?
I don't know. I think she was
gonna kill.
Maybe she was gonna try to kill him, or no? I think maybe she was gonna kill him or something. I don't know.
Desmond Hart?
I guess it was kind of weird.
Away from him, where she was gonna throw the knife.
Dude, I don't know. I'm just like it's really weird because at the same time,
pick up the knife, and I was like, so how is she gonna like throw the knife at him, or that's how I was like.
Yeah, it was a little confusing. So at first I thought it was a nephew who was doing that. I was like, what? I'm like, okay. So he's going through his whole spiel about how he did what he did because of the technology, and could throw the everything into chaos. And as he's saying this, the guards come in. They have all the rebel guys except for the Atreides guy, who
he was shocked when he seen those guys, huh?
Right, but the thing is that made it interesting is the fact that he didn't give that guy up. So nobody gave that guy up. So even though he's the eyes and ears in the palace, so it's like, what's going on? Because again, we don't know everything how everything is going and why Desmond is doing what he's doing. In this instance, he is trying to. He is doing what the queen asked him, the empress asked him, because she is trying to push her husband into being more stronger, and they're basically trapping him into where he has no choice but to do what he's doing. So Desmond brings everybody in, and as he's going to this whole speech,
put fear at the other houses. Like you can mess with House Carino, this is gonna happen to you.
Right, and he's doing it without the blessing of the emperor, because emperor doesn't want to do anything to ruffle the houses, because
he don't want to cause problems.
Right, because he seems to be worried about the houses, and they're like, dude, if you show strength, you don't have to worry about the houses. So as he's doing this, he turns to the emperor and says, "What you want me to do?" It's like, so the emperor, he basically has no choice at this point. And he nods his head. Then everybody, not only do the perpetrators go on fire, one of the heads of the houses, he who's also conspiring to accuse the emperor of something, he catches on fire too. So now you got one of the guys in the houses and all the
Start burning.
conspirators start burning. So at least everybody else in the room to go, oh, maybe he was in on it too. And that the emperor can find out everything, which that's a show of strength, which scares the shit out of all the houses in the,
Even
room.
the nephew of Balea.
Yeah.
When
So
he left there, remember he was all like all worried and drink. He wouldn't go drink.
yeah, because like, dude, I'd be like, what the fuck? You have no idea how dude did what he did, but you do know that the emperor has control over him. So how do you
he's a machine, dude? That's my heart. I think he's a machine.
Yeah, because at this point,
machine.
Yeah, at this point, this is when, like what I was saying before, is how you used to, like when you saw the eyes before, you would kind of not really hear anything, and you would hear like a little something. This one you hear like quite loudly because you see, you go back to Arrakis, you see them summoning the sandworms. You see the sandworm come up. You go inside the sandworm, then you see the eyes, and in the background you hear like a little machine noise. And at the same time, while this is happening, the little girl wakes up and she's walking around and she finds out because Tula is panicking because she got up because she had a vision of one of the other girls who it looks like they are under control of whatever this is as well. Because they got their own little thing. I don't know why would you create something where you get to it's like a cone of silence where you can conspire. So everybody knows you're using a cone of silence. So that means you're conspiring. So all the girls who had dreams and visions are conspiring because you also hear in the background throughout the episode people whispering to a Tula and these girls and all this stuff. Somebody is whispering in the background, but it's not the machine sounding noise from the two eyes. It's something else. So something else is messing with all the girls there. And they look like they're conspiring to do something to either avenge or because I think they realize what happened, but I don't know if they're in control of themselves.
Yeah, that's the mysterious part. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, so it's like they are conspiring. I think they're under control of something. Whoever is giving them those visions, I think they have on control of that. The girl wakes up. Because she was sitting in the spice for so long, she got the blue eyes. How do you explain any of this to anybody else? Oh, hey, she's supposed to be dead, and we were supposed to have burned her body or whatever. Oh, surprise. She's not dead, and she has blue eyes.
She's the underground basement, right? With the
right. So she got
a home or something.
Yeah, put her in the machine, cover her in spice. Now she got the blue eyes. So I don't know how you explain that to the sisters. Like, oops.
But basically, they're using AI, right?
Right. It's a machine. So everyone.
And
so everyone is using machines. Yeah. So nobody is supposed to be using machines, but
they're banned. That's why my heart was trying to say, whoever using these machines, we're gonna basically kill you.
Right. But the thing is like, well, who's controlling him? And that sounds like a machine. So interesting. And but what does happen is, I guess when Desmond uses his powers, it hurts him. So he starts bleeding. The Reverend Mother sees that he's bleeding. He walks up to her, looks her in the face, and then walks off.
And she sees the blood.
She wipes the blood off, and then she's going to use their machine to find out who he is.
For DNA.
Mm-hmm. And then we find out towards the end, as they come back from the meeting, what the black girl's powers are. Because she doesn't kill her uncle, but she goads him into getting upset. He falls out of his chair. She grabs his oxygen. He tries to crawl towards her as he's condemning her for being a murderer and all the other stuff. And he's completely right about this other stuff.
Yeah, he was right. Everything he told her, just he was already old. and
Right.
basically she has no heart. She's just whatever it takes. She's just gonna do it.
Right. And she's convinced that she's doing right for the universe, I guess,
Family.
but it's not. It is her ambition, which is exactly what he tells her, and she lets him die. So she doesn't actually kill him, but she kills him. Thing. All right. So
Yeah, and
he
then
died.
after that, when it was that boy, was it Theo?
Right. So this is when you find out what her powers are. So
So that was the black girl.
right. So she's having a conversation with him, and the way that she's saying it,
Oh, that's why she changes to a different person, right?
right, and it hurts. So that's why
When
she
she's
doesn't
in
like doing
AI,
it. No,
you know?
I looked at the behind the scenes stuff, and they said that she was an experiment that they can like they're doing all kind of
Oh, okay,
experiments.
okay.
So she was one of them,
I was
and
lost there. I was kind of lost. Oh,
right,
that's why at the end she turns into back to
right,
herself.
right. So it's like when she's talking to her, and she says that it gives you the impression at first that she's talking to like a ghost of her brother and trying to get aside her guilt about him getting killed, but she's actually talking to the girl, and she's like, "Well, you sure about this?" It's like, "Did I didn't push you too much?" Like, no, I'm doing what I want to do because I want to do it, kind of thing. So
So
she goes
what
on,
is that's her intention? Is like to start changing to a different person to get to
yeah,
that's my heart.
probably,
Oh, okay, now I understand it.
yeah. So it's like,
I was lost there when there was a boy and then she
mhm,
changed and then at the end she changed back to herself.
right, but you're not even aware if that's even what she actually looks like. That could be
Oh,
like,
okay,
to be
gotcha.
honest, that could be just like the thing that she just that's what she looks like.
Just a
Maybe it's a
cover.
guy, right? So maybe she's a completely different person. Who knows? Who knows what this person actually looks like?
Because remember when he changed to the Harkonnen, like all white.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's the real one.
right. So don't know. And at this point, the episode ends. And it's like I saw a preview of the next one. There's gonna be more action in the next one.
I mean,
But
we got two more episodes to go, so at least better put something, some action.
yeah. Well, this seems to be a lot of setup. And if you have more than one season planned, then I can see how the first season is a lot of setup. Even though they're not explaining everything as well as they could. As I'm watching this, I'm getting the impression there is something that I don't know.
I
Right.
mean,
So
not anyone interesting is Desmond Hart. I mean, just gonna be all.
yeah, it's interesting when you get to
He's the one
the
that makes the show more,
yeah,
more interesting to watch.
yes. So on to the next episode. To the next episode. Hopefully, I'll get a little bit. You're looking for a bit more action. There is not a lot of action.
So it looks like the other trailer for the next episode is gonna look a little bit better.
Right. So it's going to be a little bit more action.
Hopefully.
This is more of a. This is not as good as Shogun in terms of the cerebralness of the episode, but it's like it's better than whatever. Okay. So that is our wrap up of the particular episode. So do you the things like all right? So basically, what I kind of wanted to talk about was that a little bit on whether or not there's a Acolyte 2 or the source accuracy of things. So there's two things that I saw. One is they're talking about the Fantastic Four and how accurate to the story should you be. And there's another one about they announced the first like a rumor of Snape for Harry Potter. Whereas like the person that they announced is like this black guy. I don't really care about that. It's like they're going to like this is typical Hollywood type shit, race
I mean, you
change
asked
and
me
all
about
that.
Harry Potter. I know who he is, but I never watched the movies or read the books.
No, this particular the thing that I wanted to discuss has nothing really to do with that. Is them making Snape, which is a white dude who is very much described in the books as being pale, long, stringy hair, as a white guy. She, on many occasions, she has described what he looks like. They are going to cast a black guy. That's so typical of Hollywood. It's not even like some people discuss it. It's kind of like whatever, right? So my thing is, how accurate do like when you take something, at least for as you, right? A book, comic book, like old tape television show, how accurate to the source material you think they should be?
Mm.
I mean, like times change, so there's gonna be some change. But do you mind a lot of change? Like, does that really bother you when it comes to you enjoying the story if they change stuff?
I don't know. As long as it's good. So
So you don't necessarily mind the change as long as the change is well written. So,
as long as it's well written.
okay. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people's point of view. Some people are
Just don't mess it up. That's all.
yeah, I think some people are like really like they're super fans of the stuff and don't want no change. And the thing with the Harry Potter one, they're going off the fact that they're going to be accurate to the books. So your first announcement is something that is a change.
Maybe they're scared they might ruin it like Star Wars.
I don't know. Yeah. So to me, like
How many movies
modernizing,
are there? 5?
there is 6 books, I think.
But how many
So,
movies they made?
7, because they split the last book into
7?
2. Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, the way the television is supposed to go is each season is going to be a school year. So they're going to cast a bunch of kids, and they're going to
The writer was a woman that wrote this book.
J.K. Rowling, yeah.
Potter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's involved in this whole thing, like transgender stuff, whereas she's kind of left wing, except for this. She's also a feminist, so she's an actual true feminist who don't appreciate transsexual women getting involved in women's sports, going into women's locker rooms, that kind of thing. So because she has an issue with that,
weird stuff.
Well, I mean, because she has an issue with that, she gets attacked by the left all the time. So they was highly upset the fact that when she made the deal for Warner Brothers to make her books, like take her books and make them into movies, she retained control over the story. She retained.
That's how when you write stories or anything, don't get about politics. Don't say anything about it. Just produce your shit. That's it.
Well, when they did the movies, they didn't. So they found people who looks like the descriptions of the characters to a degree. They did some changes here and there to because you got to change some stuff in books in order for it to translate over to movies. Because in books, you can go into detail, you can have people thoughts, inner thoughts, so you can kind of understand the motivations of people a lot better than a movie, because you're turning into something that was a book into a 2-hour movie. You can't really get into detail, so you got to skim past stuff, and because each book is a school year, so it's an entire school year.
Who's that? Where Harry Potter with Warner Brothers, or who is it?
Yes, that
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that it's going to be on Max. So yeah. So, but back to what my initial point was, question was, is how accurate do you have to be? Now we've had a lot of stuff where they've changed things. If certain like the House of Dragons, they changed some of the characters, but it was well written. The actors who did the part,
when they made the black guy as Valerian,
right? So when people saw that,
the writer explained why he did that. He was trying to, so you understand who they are. So he just made them black, not just because he want to be black. It's just so they'll know who they are.
Right.
So the story, everybody's different. So at least you know the Valerians are the black. So you understand the story more.
Right. So I can you can understand that, and they had some people who were upset about that until you actually watch the series. And it's like, okay, he's a good actor. He does the part very well. It's
Yeah,
very
he was
well
a good
written.
actor.
Right. So it's very well written and it all fits. Fine. That's why I think that's where most people are at. Whereas like you're not gonna get a faithful rendition of anything that you like from the past. It's just not gonna happen. There's different times, like whatever you want to say, you know. There's more, you need to have more diversity or whatever, that fucking nonsense. But
I don't think they did it for that reason. I think it was
no,
just more.
no, I get what you're saying, but not everybody is like that. So a lot of times they just change shit just to add diversity. So
I didn't mind that. I thought it was good. So he was a good actor too. So
right. So could they be doing that for this? I don't know. Because that is why people were kind of surprised that Johnny Storm and Sue Storm were white for when they cast them in the new Fantastic Four movie that's coming out. Because in the previous Fantastic Four movie, they made Johnny Storm black, his sister white. Then they had to do this weird thing where their dad was actually his dad and adopted the white girl, but they made him black. So they had to go through this whole weird thing in order to explain something that they probably shouldn't have changed in the first damn place.
it's fat. You're talking about Fantastic Four, right?
Fan Four Stick or whatever the hell, where Michael B. Jordan was Johnny Storm. It's like they changed it, and then they had to go around and try to explain why Sue Storm is still blonde, but Johnny Storm is black. So it was like this weird freaking thing that they wind up doing. So that's bad writing. So bad writing is like, so I don't know. I don't want to be blackpilled on stuff, and I'm getting tired of being highly upset at stuff that's just gonna happen.
When is this movie gonna come out? Fantastic Four next year?
Uh, I don't know. It's I don't know. To be honest, probably in the next year, but no, because they filmed. I think they're either finished or almost finished with principal photography. So you throw another 6 months or whatever for VFX because they got to do a lot. Because the way the
How
story
long?
goes,
Like more. How long does it take to finish like a movie?
usually it's like a year or two, year and a half.
To
I
film
mean,
the whole movie?
no, to film it, no, to film it, it depends on how much pre-planning that they've done. So, and they got to build the sets. And if it's a lot of indoor, outdoor scene stuff with this one, because they're fighting Galactus and you got the Silver Surfette, because I think the Silver Surfer. So you got to do all of that stuff. Is a lot. It's probably gonna be a lot of green screen and all this other stuff because then they got to do the thing.
So
Because
basically a year.
it's gonna take like the VFX is gonna take a while. So you look maybe at the end of next year or maybe
26.
26. I would see more like 26 because it's gonna take because they're gonna have to do a lot because they
I
got to
mean,
do
I'm
the
not a
thing.
big fan of that show. I mean, the Fantastic Four. I did watch the old
Mhm,
the with Jessica Alba with them,
mhm.
but it was I really can't remember the whole. It's been a long while since I watched that movie.
Well, the Fantastic Four is not like your typical super team. They
Mm.
are a family. So essentially, the way that the Fantastic Four works is Reed Richards is big brain, has all these ideas. So he's always experimenting or whatever. And it brings him on different adventures based off of the stuff that he invents.
Is that the
And
one that got killed?
um,
Doctor Strange.
yeah.
That's it,
Uh,
right? The one
right.
he killed them. The
Yeah,
witch.
he Scarlet Witch killed him in the alternate universe kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, but the way that, but I'm saying that's the Fantastic Four. They don't fight crime. They're like the thing. If he's happened to be walking through the neighborhood and someone robs somebody, he'll stop it. But they're not like Spider-Man where they go actively out and seek.
Oh,
Like
okay.
they don't stop bank robbers. They don't do that. They just basically have adventures. That's kind of how they work. So at this point, the way that it's not an origin story. So we're not finding out how they became the Fantastic Four. in this particular thing, they're already going to be the Fantastic Four, and they're going to be heroes on their or whatever on their planet. So eventually, they're going to wind up in the 616. How that happens is kind of explained, I guess, in the movie to a degree. So there's speculation on that in this universe, the Silver Surfer is a girl, but when they come over to the 616, the Silver Surfer will be Norman Rad. I don't know how that's going to work, but and how all the
You mean the Silver Surfer will be a girl?
yeah, it's going to be his girl, his wife. That's who the Silver Surfer is going to be, Norman Rad's wife, or significant other. I don't know if they ever got married or anything like that. So she basically sacrificed herself in order for Galactus to not destroy their planet. So they're gonna fight Galactus, and so they got to do all of this stuff, and that's gonna take them a while to do. So like, all right, and I think at this point, like I was trying to say before, I am more interested in the overall story, not so much as getting upset over stuff that I'm not gonna be able to change. If it looks interesting, then I'll go check it out, see if it's good. If it doesn't look interesting, I'm good. You know, it's like we got Captain Black Falcon Man is coming out in February. They're doing reshoots, and
that's gonna be a total bust.
Yeah, and the part of the problem with Marvel,
and they're gonna be blaming racism.
Of course. Yeah, that's what they did when people didn't accept it in the comic books. The biggest problem with Marvel is because they keep changing their mind about stuff. So every time they change their mind, they got to change the VFX, and that takes a while to do. So they're not giving people enough time to actually do anything. So what happens is the effects come out, they look like shit, and everyone gets mad at the effects house, like it's the effects house fault that Marvel keep changing their mind. So they got to go back and re-render everything and redo the animation and do all the other stuff all over again because you changed your mind and because you want them to come over here instead of going over there and yada, yada, yada. Right? You're adding characters, taking away characters, that kind of thing.
It's like the new movie Venom. I mean, it's all right, but nothing that for me to go to the theaters to go watch that.
Because I
like Venom, but it's not something like, wow, I have to go check that movie out. It's like that's just more creative. At least, like, remember I told you I would put on with Spider-Man or.
But that's the only way that it works because that's how Venom gets his powers. It's like the symbiote has no reason to act like Spider-Man because unless he got involved with Spider-Man. So that's why Venom, it looks like he does. That's why Venom travels like from whatever to whatever. He traveled like Spider-Man because he was connected to Spider-Man, to Peter Parker.
Or Venom with I think Venom with Deadpool will be funny.
Well, I mean, eventually, yeah, but like right now, in order to, and this is why I'm not telling you how when they're gonna do Secret War, but they can't do the first Secret War because in order to do that one, you got to explain all of these. You need the X-Men, you need all the villains and the heroes, and you need all of this stuff to be explained of why this happened. Because otherwise, anybody who sees this won't know like what the hell is going on. But you could do the second one because the second one is not predicated on that. It's just Dr. Doom gets a bunch of cosmic powers and changes the world.
Yeah, that's I was hoping too that maybe they'll do the second best X-Men for me, Gambit.
Yeah,
like do a movie with them.
Well, people, I don't know. People like.
I mean, that's for me. But as X-Men, it was Wolverine and Gambit.
People actually like that version of Gambit in the Deadpool movie. So folks actually like it.
Yeah, that was a good actor. The guy that did
yeah. Right. So
maybe they're already foreshadowing something.
I don't know. Maybe, the two Avengers movies are gonna be like a multiverse kind of thing. Because in order for them to because Dr. Doom gets cosmic powers and he changes everything, this will allow them to reset, like a reset. Kind of what people was thinking that they were going to have kind of do with the Flash, which they didn't actually do. They just kind of ended the universe. It just kind of ended there.
Who
But they
was
could.
Doctor Doom? I can't remember. I remember in the comic, but a really long. What was his story?
Dr. Doom was Victor Von Doom. He was an exchange student at first from like one of those Eastern Bloc European places. Like,
Okay,
so he's old school Europe. And like what they did later was make him the ruler of that country. So it's like a small country. He is he would be he's basically a combination of Doctor Strange and Iron Man. So he has Iron Man like armor, but he also knows magic like Doctor Strange. So
so
he's
it's
like
both combined.
he's combined. He is mortal enemies with um he's mortal with Reed Richards. Some instances had them going to college together. Some instances having them like it's still like a college, but like their ages changed. So sometimes, like in the Ultimate Universe, they're young and they had like a imagine a high school for super geniuses. All right. So there was an experiment that Reed Richards was trying to get Doctor Doom to like he was telling them that his whatever he was doing was not right. And he didn't want to listen because he in his brain he's the most intelligent kind of person. Right, he's smarter than everybody.
Doctor Doom.
Right, so there's an explosion, and the older books, the explosion caused him like facial scars. So he used to be a very handsome man, and and he covers it up because he don't want anybody to see his facial scars. What they did later when they changed it a little bit where it's not like his face is scarred up. He has one scar that you can barely notice. But because he's so vain, he doesn't want to show anybody. He doesn't, so he puts the mask on.
Okay.
Right. So if you did him right, it could be very cool. Like I said, he's Iron Man mixed with friggin' Doctor Strange. So he does magic and all that kind of shit in Iron Man armor. He has like robots and this, that, and the other. So it's actually really cool if you do him right. I don't know what the hell Marvel's gonna actually do with him and which version of him is gonna be. So he wasn't.
What do you mean? What version? The younger one or the?
Well, there's
I mean,
different.
they should, if they're gonna do Doctor Doom, they're gonna have to explain who he is, right?
Right. Well, there are other versions of him. There's an alternate version where it's instead of Reed Richards, him being rivals, it's like it's Tony Stark in him. And he did something to switch minds with Tony Stark. So he's in Tony Stark's body. So he means he has access to all Tony Stark's money. So he becomes evil or whatever because he's actually Victor Von Doom, and Tony Stark is stuck in his body. But because Tony Stark is such a genius, he makes himself rich, right? So it could be that one. So that's why you would explain why he looks like Tony Stark, because he's basically Victor Von Doom in Tony Stark's body. Like I said, I have no idea which one they're going to do. And given
go back and read a little bit more of Doctor Doom just to refresh my memory.
Yeah. Given how Marvel's track record is, kind of, to be honest, I don't know what we're gonna get, because you can pull it off if you have very good writers. I have zero faith in Marvel right now. Like Deadpool could either be a start of a new Marvel, a new and improved Marvel, or it can be an aberration thing because it was more Ryan Reynolds and not so much Kevin Feige and everybody else kind of thing.
I mean,
So,
that was funny. So
right, but that's Ryan Reynolds, and it was already funny, and all he did was basically poke fun at the Fox universe and a little bit of fun at Marvel and Disney, right? but it was more poking fun at from them having the like in the land where everything gets forgotten and having the
Yeah.
20th
And then
century
Blake
Fox.
came out.
Yeah, so you had
Gabby
the
came
20
out.
like right. So you go in there and the 20th century Fox is in the desert. And so it's like a ha thing. So everything. So it's all and all those characters are Fox. That's why Chris Evans was Tony Stark. I mean, not Tony Stark. It was Johnny Storm instead of Captain America. But they played on it by having him dressed like a little bit like Captain America, and that's who Deadpool thought he was until he caught on fire. And they were like, "What the fuck?" Right? So it was lots of meta jokes kind of thing. All right. So the last topic of it, like that I wanted to say was your favorite show. They're actually hinting that there is a chance that this your all-time favorite thing could be coming back. Are you looking forward to this in any capacity?
I mean, why would they do it? They lost so much money, and they're still gonna. What's gonna be the budget? 300 million just to make season two.
I don't know, dude. But this dude thinks that there's a chance. So,
Oh, he thinks I doubt it. Then he just
oh,
hoping. He's just trying to put promote his show.
bro, it's one of these things where it's like they want to explore yada yada yada. The temperature definitively going to be more Plagueis in the second, if not third, or if not the third season of the show. But I can't just say. So we could come back. I don't want to spoil anything or give anybody false hope, but I would just say that there are a lot more to explore. So I don't know. I don't understand Lucasfilm. I haven't understood Lucasfilm for the last 5-6 years. It's like just like everything else, when something is not going in the direction that you want, instead of actually trying to fix it so
I
that you
guess
can.
if they do season two, that tells you how much power Kathleen Kennedy has.
Mm. Oh,
I mean, I don't know what else can you say if they do a second season. That tells you all. You know what I mean? She has so much power.
bro, they still got like all right from the race change of like Snape in Harry Potter to all this, there's still stuff coming out. Whereas like you can't like how did you not see how the direction that everybody is like your fan base is going, like everyone. It's like you have some people who are liking this stuff. The vast majority of people are not. And this is just shows you the abject narcissism of some of these people. Where they're just gonna make it work regardless of the fact that in reality it's not. And it's like they just don't seem to care that it doesn't work.
Yeah, especially from Inside Out to Deadpool and now Moana 2. They're doing good. So why not provide us with better shit, you know?
They got all right. Given how the election went, and some of the actions of a lot of people who are in charge of this stuff, it will give you an idea that they are well aware that they are on the wrong side of this particular thing. So some people are showing you that, whereas some people are so stuck with the message that they can't let it go, and they just gonna and it's like they wish to shove it in your face enough and hoping that you'll change your mind. You have both of these going on at the same time. So eventually, Bob Iger is going to be gone from Disney. They're already talking about a new CEO and all this stuff. So he's going to be gone.
Yeah, he's gonna retire.
Right. Now, with the next person who comes in, will they realize that, okay, we need to get back to what Disney was before and stop all of this stuff? I don't know, because everything that they got announced for the most part coming out soon is all sequels and live action friggin' It's like Mufasa is. It's like, how do you call something that's completely CGI live action? Like, I don't know. They're doing a live action Moana. They're doing the Lilo and Stitch. Love the cartoon. The trailer for the way they have Stitch moving, it looks like it's closer to Sonic than most of the other things that Disney has done. There's a lot of stories, like in terms of Inside Out 2, there are a lot of stories talking about how the animators are upset because all of the notes that they got were essentially telling them, like, no, we want to know. We want to know. We want to no, you can't do that. Just tell a story. That's it. But yeah, but no. And it seemed to be what all the notes were. All this stuff that they stuck in every damn thing else, from turning red to all its other things, they gotta know. No.
They're always changing everything, the story.
Right. But it seems like for Inside Out, they got a bunch of no's. Well, but we want to know. Well, can we just no? Can we put no? Just do this. Tell the story. Have it basically be a sequel to the first one. That's it. Don't add any kind of weirdness to it. They were upset because what they wanted to do was for the little girl to have a crush on the older girl. Instead of what they did in the movie was, just like most kids, she idolized the older girl. That's it. That's all it was. They wanted it to be more than that. But every time they were trying to pitch that, Disney was like, no. It's mentor, mentee, or protege, or whatever you want to call it. That's what they did. And what happens? The movie comes out. It has none of that stuff in it. But everybody was afraid of that they was going to put in it because especially Pixar was putting that crap in everything that they were doing. They didn't put anything in this one, and it made a billion. Right. They made $1.3 billion freaking dollars. So you would think, like, okay, we made something that didn't have any of this stuff in. People brought their families to it. We made something that had all of this stuff in it. People didn't bring their families to it. So the thing is these companies are well aware of people's viewpoint on certain things. So on for Netflix, there's the you heard about Arcane, right? It's based off a League of Legends character, and had like so there's a scene at the end where the main protagonist is lesbian, right? So in the U.S. version of this show, she's having a conversation with her girlfriend or friend or whatever it is. And it is very intimate. She's leaning on her shoulder, all this other stuff. The Chinese version of it, they are not even near each other. It's the same dialogue, but if you take out the leaning on her and the this, that, and the other, it makes it come across completely differently. In the Chinese version, she is a girl who is talking to her friend. The American version, she is a girl talking to her girlfriend.
Yeah, because I believe in every Disney movie in China, they have to change it up.
China, various parts in Asia, especially specifically the places where they have a large Muslim.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I heard about that. Disney has to change the movie. It's not the same movie as over here.
Yeah, because if they don't, they're not going to show it. Period. It's just not.
They don't make money.
No, they're just not going to show it. Like China is not going to accept it. Period. You're not showing.
But I'm saying they have to so they could.
Right, they make money
too over there.
So that's why people was like looking at them like hypocrites because they do that. It's like, so you in America, you're pushing all this da 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 da, but all these other places where they don't put up, like Russia, stuff like that, they don't like they have no desire for any of that stuff to be in this stuff that whatever. So it's like if you actually had
Saudi Arabia,
right? So if you actually were serious about whatever you're pushing, whatever it is, then you would just not show it there and you would lose the money. But Disney doesn't want to lose the money. So they adjust it. So they'll do stuff like the Star Wars kiss, where two women in the back of like Ray comes out and everybody's celebrating because they defeated the whatever order. Two women in the background are kissing each other. That's not in Saudi Arabia and all these other places, but it's in the American version. So Disney has no problem filming things where they can take it out. So Buzz Lightyear, when it went over to the whole Buzz coming over to his friend's house and it's her and her wife and the kid and all that stuff, that is not in the
Yeah,
Saudi
I
Arabian
remember
version.
when I watched that, I totally missed that part because it was so
Right,
fast.
right, because they
And then
want
they
to.
told me, they were telling me, oh, that's when they had the two lesbians. And I didn't, it was so
That
fast that I went by. Like, I didn't pay, maybe I was not even paying attention to the movie.
that is the way Disney works. Is they film stuff so that they can virtue signal in certain countries and take it out in others, and it has zero
They
effect.
try to be sneaky, try to throw it in
Right,
there.
it has zero effect on the overall story. So it's just something that they just stuck in so that they can pat themselves on the back. Hey, look what we're doing. So that pisses off the people who they're trying to appeal to, and it pisses off the people who are like, why is this in there? And it's the same thing with the race change stuff. It's like they say all these things and then they make a poster for Star Wars and Finn is tiny and Chadwick Boseman has his mask on. So it's like, which is weird considering how, especially with like Black Panther, like, dude, people are gonna notice that most of the cast is Africans. But on the poster, they're just trying to somehow it's not. I don't know. So it's a lot of phoniness. But neither one of us are that excited about the Acolyte. I am curious as to see if they would actually change it.
I don't think they're gonna do it. He's just saying that he's trying to promote it, but
Mhm.
I don't think they're gonna do it. There's no way. I'll be freaking shocked if they do season two.
Bruh. At this point, I'm not surprised by most things. But most times, it's like I don't get why half these companies do the things that they do. Is there's plenty of evidence of whatever yet you're doing is not working, but they do the shit anyway. So you go figure, right? Well, we reached the 1 hour mark, and we've discussed everything that we just wanted to discuss. I hope that Dune Prophecy is more interesting in episode 5, but the first 4 is like kind of the same thing. It is talk, 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 talk. The stuff with the sisters is boring. They have to figure out a way. If they're gonna do a second season, they have to figure out a way to make them more interesting because it's not.
Yeah, hopefully season two will be not more of the Benny Gesserit, make it more.
Well, but that's basically what the show is about, though. So it's like I don't know how
I
you get
know, but
around it.
it's like
I don't know how you get around
not
that.
too much about it. Like we already know, you guys explained. So
You have to make them more interesting because right now all they are is, for me, the biggest issue is this takes place so far from the actual thing. Like
yeah,
I don't know how
10,000
any
years before Pod Trinity.
right. So it's like how does this have any effect on that? And it'd be different if they would have told like the original person who made the sisterhood, if they would have told how she got to the position that they were in when this show started. That might be interesting because then you could have had her war hero and blah 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 and all this other
Oh, it
stuff.
would have been better they did when they fought the Jihad, Bolerian Jihad. That would have been much better.
Right. And then they could have actually showed how she came up to the idea to do the thing. They should have made it about her
Mhm.
instead of this.
Yeah, because
Because
she fought in the war and her husband got killed. Remember?
right. So then you could have had her like create the sisterhood for whatever her reasoning was. So she could have created, and then that would have been more interesting because you could have had more action scenes, and then you could have had her doing something where she gets to have a measure of influence over the new emperor. So then you created, like, you showed how that happens, how the empire is created or whatever, and how, so that is a bit more intriguing. Because
Yeah,
then you can
I mean,
have like,
they didn't have Desmond Hart. I think this would have been boring that show.
yeah, and that's why the last episode was born, because he wasn't in it, and because he's a mystery. The fact that you showed off a little bit more about, like, you can hear a little bit more, and it sounds very, very metallic, robotic like, so, and that makes it more intriguing. So if you go back to more the sisters sitting around talking, it's like, I don't know. But I think that we should call this a stream. So to all you folks out there on the internet who watches this later, thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Emphasis on subscribe. We got a lot of people watching the recast of these episodes, which I appreciate. I would love it if you haven't subscribed. If you could subscribe, that'd be great. I'm gonna go back to making more smaller things, so there'll be more stuff during the week, and at some point we're going to start doing video game streams and things like that to expand the channel, and other things that we're going to do next year. Starting in January, we're going to try adding some more stuff to give more than just our weekly show. So please tune in for that. That'd be very awesome. So on the behalf of myself, and
Peace out.
all right, and